want to start.
Good morning. Today our subject is dry docking. You must have all experienced that the ship goes twice in every 5 years into grave dock, where the ship goes with a particular trim, and then the grave dock's doors are closed, and then the water is pumped out from the grave dock, and the ship starts slowly sitting onto the blocks, having a particular declivity. Okay. Now, what happens after that? So, at some point, ship starts just sitting on the blocks at a particular trim, and then as the water level goes down, ship starts slowly sitting all the way with the overall length onto the blocks. Okay, and then finally all the water is pumped out, and then the maintenance is done. Dry docking is important, that if it's not done on a regular basis, at a particular interval basis, rather I would say as per the SOLAS, twice in 5 years period, then the ship hull gets a lot of growth, and that growth causes the resistance to the ship's hull. These growths are generally algae and the barnacles. So these are all removed with a freshwater wash, and then the ship's hull is actually blasted with grits or water blasted, and then fresh coats of paints are given in the regions. One is in the lower part, one is in the boot top area, and other part is above the water. So let's see what happens when the ship goes to the dry dock. Dry dock. Let's say a ship it's in a particular draft. It has to have a particular trim for going inside. Now this trim, if it is too small, there is a problem for the ship, and if it is too large, also a problem for the ship. So a particular trim is required, considering the ship will have a positive GM throughout the period during pumping out of the water, so that ship is not unstable, doesn't become unstable, and then very evenly it comes down like this. Let's say first block, second block, third block, fourth block, fifth, and block number, let's say n. So let's say this is the first one, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then dot 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 dot. Finally, the n. N is an integer. Okay. Now, as the water level starts falling, ship starts sitting. We'll always say the ship is afloat as long as ship is just above the block, even if it is 1 centimeter above the water blocks. So the moment it starts sitting, there will be an upward force. We call this upward force acting onto the ship's hull. We call this force P force. We call this force P force. So let's see this. What is the function of this P force? As the water level falls, the P force keep pushing up, as if some kind of weight in the lower part, let's say from the lower part here, is taken out from the ship. Normal circumstances, when the ship comes inside, ship will have a km, ship will have a kg, and ship will have a gm. As you take the weight out from the bottom part, since the P force is acting on the ship's hull at the bottom part, the G the distance between M and G reduces. Why? Because if you take a weight out from the ship's bottom, G moves up. Because as I said in the previous class, there is a relation between the mother G and the baby G. So G goes out and small g goes out, mother G moves up, reducing the distance between G and M, or rather we call it metacentric height, GM. Finally, we have to ensure that the G and M must not be at the same level, because the moment GM becomes 0, we call the ship is unstable. And there the problem starts. So, first force we call it P1, and then the second force we call it P2, and finally it goes to Pn. So, as this P1, P2, P3, P4 starts, the total P force, the sum P n is equal to 0 and n. So this force P will increase. So practically the strength of the P force will go up like this. And finally, when it starts sitting on the block, the total displacement, the moment it is evenly sitting onto the blocks, the total displacement, let's say if the initial displacement was W is equal to initial displacement. So the summation of P is to n. We call this one. Let's say delete this one. This is sigma. We call this sigma 0 to n. So at the n level, at Pn level, it is maximum. So summation of this total will become the displacement of the ship, W. Why? Because the total weight of the ship is sitting onto the blocks. So W, total summation of all the P forces, will become the ship's displacement. And when will this occur? When the water level falls below the top of the, let's say if this is the water level, then this is the initial WL, and we call this W1, L1, the new water line, which is below the ship's hull and just below the keel blocks. We call this keel blocks. Okay. Now the time it starts, let's say when it starts sitting, we call this time T1, and we call this time when it starts sitting over here, then we call this Tn. So this period we write like this: period, OD period. We call this T1. Tn minus T1 is called critical period, because during this period the problems can take place with respect to the ship's stability. Okay, now how do we calculate this P force? So we calculate the P force is equal to, P is calculated like this: P is equal to upward force. We take the moments at the back side, let's say at up perpendiculars, because initially the ship starts sitting with the stern first. So we take this P is equal to trim into MCTC divided by LCF. Okay, that's LCF, where LCF is the center of flotation from up perpendiculars. center of rotation, let's say it is C here. CF, center of rotation from the upward nucleus. Now, with this formula, let's say which is here. Now, this formula, we can find out upward force. So, we can find out with using this P, the virtual loss of GM, the virtual loss of GM. Now, we have to understand, if the initial GM, initial metacentric height, let's say if the initial metacentric height was GM, then after applying the virtual loss of GM and the free surface correction, we get we get what we call is the residual GM of the ship. Okay. Now, this residual GM, we need to ensure that it is positive. The thing is, higher the trim, what is this here? We can call this P is equal to, we can say like this, that P is proportional to trim. Correct? When MCTC and LCF are constant. Correct? Now see, if we have the higher trim, our P will be higher, and we don't want P is a big value. We don't want. Why? Because if the P value is very big, there will be damage in this area. There will be too much of upward thrust, causing a damage to the ship's hull. So we need to have a reasonable value of trim, and then we can take the ship to the dry dock. Now, how do we calculate the virtual loss of GM? The virtual loss of GM is calculated. This way. Virtual loss of GM is equal to, there are two formulas. One is the kg formula, other one is the km formula. With the kg formula, we get it. That formula is, we call this one virtual loss of GM. This is one. We call this one. Just a minute. We call this one virtual loss of, this is formula 1 and formula 2. Virtual loss of GM is equal to, first one will be P into kg divided by W minus P, and the second one is P into Km divided by W. Okay. Now remember one thing, you will not get the equal values from both these two way of calculations. If you use the kg formula, you will get a particular value. If you use the km, you will get a particular value. But as far as examination is concerned, my advice to you is that you use both the formulae to make sure that you are solving the problem in the correct way. At the end, you may get different answers, slightly different answers, but generally the answers come within acceptable range. Okay, so what did we learn today? We learned this one, there is some kind of invisible force when the ship starts sitting on the dock onto the blocks, and this force is actually the upward thrust affecting the ship's hull. Initially, this force has a small value. This is the strength. We call this one, let's say, GTH strength, and we call this level. So initially this force is small, and as the ship keeps sitting down slowly, and finally when it sits on the blocks evenly, then this is the maximum force. This is what we call this Tn, and here it starts with T1. What we calculated, T1 time T1, and here's the Tn. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you. In the next class, we'll start some solving some problems. Another thing, I tell you, just 1 minute. Maybe in the next class we'll do this. This is actually called grave dock. We call this grave. Okay, there is another type of dock which we call it floating dock. We write here floating dock. In floating dock, no matter what trim the ship has, the floating dock itself will trim and slowly come under the ship's hull, and then it starts lifting the ship. So in that case, we don't need to get so much worried about the trim part of it, because the dock itself will evenly trim itself, number one. Number two is that there is only one problem, because the floating dock is also another ship. So when both the ships, when the ship and the floating dock are together, we need to think that there is not any problem from the free surface effects or free surface, and we need to accurately calculate the free surface corrections. Okay, that will be in the next class. Thank you. That's all for today.